This is an exercise that I call meaningful connection. And I've told you about it before, but you don't know what it is. Now, the first time it happens, it's a little stiff because this is the sort of thing that you normally do in a regular conversation. I normally don't tell people, hey, I'm going to do this exercise with you.
Yeah.
All right, so if you don't mind my asking, what's a passion of yours, something that you like to do besides work and family?
I like Buddhism, studying Buddhism.
Okay, so Buddhism is something...
Buddhist philosophy. I'm not a religious Buddhist, I'm a philosophical Buddhist.
Okay, so...
Buddhist philosophy and psychology, I'd say.
Okay, so Buddhist philosophy and psychology. Now, I'm not a big religious person, but I've studied a bit of Buddhism, and for me it's very interesting because it has a different perspective than a lot of religions that I'm used to. It helps me look at myself, and I've meditated a lot, so which is not necessarily Buddhist, but that's where I learned it. And my stepfather's also, he does a lot of meditation, and for him Buddhism is very important. Every day he goes up and he spends some time away from everyone, and I believe it gets him in touch with himself and with nature.
It's good.
And what is it for you?
Well, for me, if you look at the story of Buddha, Buddha was brought up as a boy in a very protected, wealthy environment. And his father seemed attitude of, well, he'll be happy if he gets more. So he's given more and more. He was protected from life. He was not around sick people, old people, death. And then he was able to sneak out of the palace 3 times. One time he learned people get old. And one time he learned people get sick. And another time he learned people die. So Buddha kind of said, you get old, you get sick, and you die. Well, that kind of sucks. Not so good. Then he realized, in spite of all the wealth and all these things that he had, you still get old, you get sick, and you get die, and you can't buy much with this money that matters that much. And so Buddha realized you cannot be happy by having more. Then Buddha thought, well, I'm going to go out in the woods. He was a hermit. He almost starved himself to death. He tried to be happy by giving things up and having less. Then he learned you can't be happy by having less. The essence of Buddhism is you can only be happy with what you have. And you can't be happy next week or next month. There's only one time you can be happy now. And there's only one place you can be happy here. So where's Nirvana? It's in a condominium in New York City talking to me. Here it is. Welcome to Nirvana. This is it, right? And the essence of Buddhism is this is it. Now, if you've meditated, you don't hear this constant little voice yammering in your head, you know. The little voice existentially says the same thing over and over. Things will be better when? When you scratch your head, when you move your butt, when you get a PhD, when you get married, when. The essence of Buddhism is, no, they won't. It is what it is. The great Western art form is one you've been exposed to a zillion times. It sounds like this. There is a person. The person is sad. They spend money. They buy a product, and they become happy. This is called a commercial. Have you seen one of those before? A commercial?
Oh, yes.
A couple of those. But we are barraged with this day after day after day after day after day. You will be happy when? To me, the essence of Buddhism is very simple. Be happy now.
So that's a lot. You talked about so many things. Like, I feel like you mentioned dying a lot, but I don't feel like that was the key. That was like an entry point to something.
Yes.
Is it about death? Is it about, when you talk about dying, what are you getting at?
Well, I do an exercise. The exercise is not about dying. The exercise is about living. If you understand, though, you are going to die, it puts living into perspective. So in the exercise, I have people imagine they're 95 years old and they're on their deathbed. And then I tell them, imagine you're given a beautiful gift, the ability to go back in time and talk to the person that's listening to me right now. What advice would the wise 95-year-old you who knows what mattered in life, what didn't, what was important, what wasn't, what advice would that wise person have for the you that's here right now? And then I tell people, whatever you're thinking now, do that. In terms of performance appraisal, that's the only one that's going to matter. The old person says you did the right thing, you did. The old person says you screwed up, you did. You don't have to impress anybody else. So it's good to get this perspective on life, realizing that life doesn't last forever, and it's important to look at what really matters and what's important in life, and really focus your energy on doing that, as opposed to getting lost in trivia.
So this philosophy of Buddhism gives you a perspective on life.
Yeah.
And for now.
Yeah, for now. And also, feed forward as Buddhist. You teach feed forward, that's a Buddhist exercise. Buddha said only do it if I teach and works for you. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay, just don't do it. So in feed forward, you ask for ideas. You treat the idea like a gift. Well, if somebody gives you a gift, you don't say stinky gift, bad gift, dumb gift. What do you say? Thank you. Now, if you want to use the gift, you use it. If the gift doesn't work in the context of your own life, you don't use it. It's okay. You learn, though, to say thank you and just appreciate the fact that I'm getting a gift. Thank you, thank you.
I apologize for interrupting what we're talking about right now. How do you feel about the conversation we just had from when I said, let's do this exercise?
Oh, it was good because it seemed to me that you were interested in me.
Did you feel meaningfully connected?
Yeah, I
Okay.
liked it.
Great, I'm glad to hear that.
I forgot you were doing an exercise.
That's what I hear all the time. That's what this exercise is about.